Happening now, crews are searching for a missing teen who disappeared while swimming. I'll tell you where he was and the warning for other beachgoers. That's coming up.
And Medicaid expansion, one of the hot button issues as state lawmakers head back to Tallahassee today. We'll tell you about their special session taking place today.
And overnight, parts of the controversial Patriot Act expired in this morning show, while one U.S. Senator from Florida says the country will be less safe without it.
From News 13, the morning's first news. Traffic and weather together. This is your morning news weather now.
Hi, everybody. Good morning. Time right now is 6 o'clock. I'm Ibeth Brusual. It is June 1st, the start of the hurricane season. All right, let's get you started this morning with traffic and weather together. Ryan Harper standing by with a real-time traffic check, but right now live weather on the ones with meteorologist Jamie Martin. Can you believe it's already June 1st?
Yeah, it's hard to believe, Beth, but it's felt like June 1st for the last several weeks. It's been so hot, but the tropics for the most part are pretty quiet across the area right now. However, we will be heating things up today, and we'll see a better chance of showers and storms today than we even had yesterday across parts of central Florida. A great start. Look at this beach shot right now. You can see very pretty conditions out along the coast. It's only 70 Daytona Beach, 71 in Melbourne, 73 in Orlando right now. So starting off in the low 70s, we're going to see those temperatures climb quickly, though, because check out all those clear conditions that we have across the area. Temperatures will top out near 90 degrees this afternoon. We'll see about a 40 to 50% chance, though, of showers and thunderstorms. Right now, though, let's get over to traffic, see how things are going on the central Florida roadways. How's it looking out there, Ryan?
Well, Jamie, for the most part, I-4 looking pretty good as you take a look at downtown Orlando here. You can see the green along your roadways here heading to or from downtown Orlando. This is what it looks like eastbound from Conroy Road through Colonial Drive. That's a stretch of about 6 miles. You're looking at about a 5-minute travel time, which is pretty good news overall there. I-4 westbound about 14 miles, about 14 minutes to get there. Your average speeds from Seminole County heading all the way through downtown Orlando, about 67 miles per hour. That's your Central Florida Hyundai dealers real-time traffic update.
Time now 6:02, and the search continues this morning for a missing swimmer, a teenager in Volusia County. News 13's Julie Gargata is joining us now from Hiles Boulevard in New Smyrna Beach live, and that's the area where the swimmer was last seen. Julie, where do the search efforts stand this morning?
Well, Beth, the lifeguard told us that they have been searching all night for this missing 17-year-old. He was last seen at 5 o'clock last night by a beachgoer. That's when a beachgoer reported seeing the teen go underwater, but he never came back up. The U.S. Coast Guards from Ponce de Leon Inlet Station launched the search for the teen just 20 minutes later. The Coast Guard, Sheriff's Office, and Volusia County Beach Patrol all assisted in the search, which continues at this hour. We know that the missing swimmer is about 5'10" and has long brown hair. This comes after we told you about the bad rip currents along the coast in the past week. 3 people drowned over Memorial Day holiday, as well as hundreds of rescues along Florida coastline. Live in New Smyrna Beach, Julie Gargata, News 13.
Of course, News 13 will bring you any updates on this case when they happen on air and online at mynews13.com. Well, meanwhile, today is the first day of Rip Current Awareness Week. So if you're going to the beach, be careful out there. Take Brevard County, for instance. Lifeguards rescued 20 swimmers on Sunday alone. While that's down from hundreds rescued over the Memorial Day weekend, a dozen swimmers at the Minutemen Causeway Beach got swept up in what's called a flash rip. That's a high-energy rip that happens when the water level rises suddenly, causing a temporary but powerful current. 2 lifeguards were able to pull each swimmer to safety. Tourists say the rip currents make for a not so relaxing day at the beach.
My boyfriend was telling me to start swimming sideways because I was trying to swim forward and I was struggling and I just kept getting pulled back.
Meantime, the onshore wind is bringing in brown algae. There's a lot of it on the beach, and important to note here, the brown algae cannot be removed during sea turtle nesting season. Right now, the search is on for other people who may have been involved in a weekend drug deal that turned deadly. It happened early Sunday morning in the eastern part of the county on Marietta Street near East Colonial Drive. The sheriff's office says during the deal, a gun was pulled and shots were fired right in the middle of the street. After all was said and done, 2 people, 37-year-old Ronald Moore and another man deputies believed to be a suspect, were pronounced dead at the hospital. A 3rd man suffered non-life-threatening injuries, but he's not cooperating with investigators. If you have any information whatsoever that could help deputies, call Crime Line at 1-800-423-TIPS. And at 6:05, we're talking politics after Republicans in the Florida House ended their session early last month because of the health care stalemate. Lawmakers are back in Tallahassee today for a special session. News 13's Sandra Osborne is joining us live right now outside Florida Hospital East. And Sandra, Medicaid expansion has been the big controversial item.
Andy, Beth, after a month-long cooling off period, that is something that state lawmakers will have to resolve by the end of this month. And now the House, which has sided with Governor Rick Scott, still appears to be against expanding Medicaid. The Senate still for it, wanting to accept $51 billion in federal funding to help pay for private insurance for about 800,000 low-income Floridians.
To cover people who now are not covered. They make too much money to qualify for Medicaid presently and don't make enough money to pay health insurance premiums.
It does take two to tango, though, and it appears as of this point there's still no framework for a compromise.
Well, I think that the Senate now has committed to not hold up the budget over the expansion of Medicaid pursuant to Obamacare. So that bill will be handled separately. What I believe will happen, the Senate will probably vote it up and the House will vote it down.
One major project here in Orlando that no longer hinges on the legislature, the new soccer stadium. You'll remember Orlando City Soccer was waiting on lawmakers to approve funding, but they announced just last week they will now privately fund the stadium. Now, state lawmakers in both the House and the Senate, they say they are committed to passing this budget by the deadline, the end of this month. The goal is to have Governor Rick Scott sign that budget by July 1st. Of course, we'll be keeping an eye on that. In the meantime, this special session going on right now, costing taxpayers about $60,000 per day. Reporting live in Orlando, Sandra Osborne, News 13.
While you slept, portions of the controversial Patriot Act expired at midnight. The U.S. Senate tried during a rare Sunday session to approve an extension of the program and two other key Patriot Act provisions, but they adjourned before approving one. They did, however, vote to begin debate on a House-passed compromise bill, the USA Freedom Act. It renews the three expiring Patriot Act provisions and would overhaul the controversial bulk telephone collection program, keeping the telephone data in the hands of the phone companies. The bill would require the government to seek specific warrants for access to that data. The Senate will reconvene at noon today. Final passage of the bill is expected to take a couple of days. Meanwhile, one of Florida's U.S. senators says he is disappointed because those Patriot Act provisions were allowed to expire. In a statement sent out last night, Senator Rubio says after last night, there is no guarantee that U.S. intelligence and law enforcement agencies will have all the tools they need to protect the American people in the face of a growing terrorist threat. Allowing any of these programs to expire is a mistake, but that's what's happening as a consequence of the reckless spreading of misinformation and political posturing. New this morning, check it out. A car smashed right through this fence in Orange County and crashed into a family's home. News 13 was right there as the car was being towed. It appears the vehicle went through the fence and hit the porch. It happened overnight on Lacerda Drive in the Avalon Park neighborhood. The family who lives at the home says they were up at the time and no one was seriously hurt. We'll bring you more details about this accident as soon as they are released. New this Monday morning, how would you like a specific place on the interstate to pull over and use your phone safely? Believe it or not, it's happening. Today, the Florida Department of Transportation and Geico unveil a series of statewide safe phone zones. Under the program, Florida rest areas, welcome centers, and turnpike service plazas would be considered safe locations for cell phone use. Orlando hosted one of the largest travel conventions in the world this weekend, but Visit Orlando doesn't want our area to fall into the trap of just assuming everyone's going to come to Central Florida. In an effort to stand out above the competition, Visit Orlando announced during the tourism conference they're trying something new. They're launching an all-new interactive way for tourists to experience Central Florida through social media. The website will be called orlandostories.com, and it'll give tourists a chance to post their travel stories and experiences by using hashtag #MyOrlandoStory.
Nearly a third of all of our jobs are in tourist-related jobs. I mean, that's a lot of people here in Orange County. who would be out of a job if we don't maintain our strong dominance in the tourism industry.
This past year, Orange County had a record-breaking number of visitors with just around 62 million. Tourism officials hope to break that record this year. Take a look at this video. Looks like a river overflowed, doesn't it? Well, it's not. We'll tell you what caused this flood in less than 4 minutes. And how would you like to perform your very own eulogy or even leave some words of wisdom for your family and friends after your death? A Florida tech company can help you out. Details coming up after the break. You're watching News 13, available only on Bright House Networks.